Yes, Rise can shove in the Ahri. Question is whether you're going to get out traded, particularly with Ahri at level 1 being able to use the electrocute. So it's here.
It's here.
It's arrived.
We've turned up to... I made the Jurassic Park reference and look who's turned up. Yes! Production! Oh, the drops in the water. You can see the ripples right now. The electric fences are down. It's no holds barred. It is a primeval Jurassic Clash of Titans.
What do you mean they had that prepared?
Exquisite stuff.
Honestly,
exquisite stuff.
Hats off, production. You have absolutely floored me with that. What the heck?
John Williams is doing the soundtrack right now. Riot Games, hire him. Get it on.
Okay,
bring us back.
Given how much we've joked about that little duck slash
monster, Eldritch God, yes.
The entire split, that is by far my most favorite moment related to that. So we can.
I'm gonna need a moment.
Jungle 2v2.
Shikari's down here, by the way.
Gonna be doing some crazy stuff, but we have the level 1 weirdness coming from the Scion. Now, it's not lane swap shenanigans. This is very much Bow Scion. Sit there level 1 and charge up a Q. Hope you hit both.
Oh, gosh, they don't know he's there. They've got no vision. They don't know. They don't know.
Objects
lives in the sink.
Objects in the mirror might seem larger than they appear.
Oh, they've got Drain and Clogger. They know he's there.
The volley didn't hit. So they're still wary.
No, they don't know.
They didn't see
It's going to come through! Flash away! Nata burns it, but that means he's not going to go down. Level 1 strategy pays off, but not as well as they'd like. He'll teleport top. He lost control of the wave, but he was always going to.
I mean, presence of mind from X7's bot lane to not get caught out by that, but starting the sweeper on the Ashe to spot inside the brush, and Shikari, now with no TP, getting monstered in the level 1 by Jace. Of course, has 2 abilities compared to most champions level 1.
2-for-1 trade. Buy 1 ability, get 1 free.
or some
Mercury Cannon Industries. That's how he got ahead in Piltover.
Business is trading and business is good.
Business might be booming, but Kasing gets stunned up and turns it around. That's a lot of turnaround there. Ouch.
And this is one of the big problems with diving into someone like a Braum. I mean, it's exactly what that champion was designed for. Back in the back end of Season 4 was the real first Warden / disengaged champion of the tank variety. Was released in this game, and to this day, however many days and years later, still performing that job very, very well. So you have to really watch out for Duel, who, of course, we praised so much throughout this split. He's going to have a really hard time actually landing good engages. And there will be a point where Leona's ultimates potentially swing the game for Bifrost when you get to come in with a Scion ult into a Solar Flare, catch off someone like this Ashe who, without a flash, can't really do much for themselves, but Bifrost will have to keep forcing away those defensive abilities.
They didn't spot Hari.
And yeah, but that's a question for later. Question for early game is, again, jungle matchup very, very important for this.
Haru has had his way with the jungle, really, as it stands, but he's going to come over and try and steal this. Ward hops forward, went for the steal. Don't know who secured it. Have to look back over. It was Seaboy who finally wins a smite fight. It is over an early Scuttle Crab, but it's important as Jaeger lands that important shock blast. Maybe look for the all-in. Flash from Shikari, but it'll be a flash out from Jaeger. One final auto will get it. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade.
So First blood trade, but there's no teleport on Shikari. I mean, you have the passive. That will help you fix your wave somewhat, but
it's not everything.
It is absolutely not going to be the entire wave. And now you've got yourself an awkward slow push heading back in towards Jason. That means that you're going to be handing over a lot more farm towards Jaeger.
Yes, you are both top laners without flash, but both junglers want to play towards the bot lane. So what do you do now?
Jaeger has the choice of what he wants to do with his wave, right? He's going to pick up a couple of extra minions from the dregs of that last lane. And yeah, I mean, he's not choosing to push it right now. Although, I mean, Haru is on this side of the map. That's serious danger now for Shikari, because you have to look at this and you think, oh crap, I need to break that freeze, which is why Seaboy is heading up to help him despite of course, wanting to focus on bot lane like you were saying. I mean, both these bot lanes have been so important, but as we said, Jaeger gets to choose where he wants to play on the map, clears out some vision. Shikari's in serious trouble. Serious trouble.
Does turn up as I managed to mute myself because I was talking to stop coughing and let go of the button, so I apologize for the blackness there. I came in partway through that. I literally held the cough button because I was coughing just at the start of that play, and I come in as like, I need to let go of that button. Behind the scenes info was I fumbled that one just slightly.
Well,
this is the problem with having a big red button.
It's the one, and it's a maybe.
I pressed it.
Maybe you should just have yourself some cough syrup. I hear that's what Jägermeister used to be.
Oh,
no. But X7
Wow.
not finding anything in that top lane.
Oh, well, you dropped that bomb, that's for sure.
And Bifrost now managing to bail out that top lane. Awkward situation just about. Bot lane, isolated Caitlyn lane, left to push. Also got that early flash away. Potential play in the mid lane.
Charm flashed away from.
And this is the thing about the Ahri Ryze matchup as well. Yes, Ryze gets the ability to push in. He has serious kill threat against him, because he is outranged when he is looking for a lot of this trading in mid lane to the Lee Sin be able to tag in with the Warthog. Always need to be very, very careful and quick in your fingers with that flash button, but now he doesn't have that flash button to bring to bear. X7, however, they do really want to play through their top side of the map. It's not really going to be Kissing able to roam that often to impact the mid lane. It does tend to be mid and jungle and support that do affect that mid lane. Without Braum able to really walk up. Looks like X7 without finding anything in that mid lane right now, we're going to have to kind of walk away without too much right now. I think Bifrost are okay with how the early game's gone in terms of the mid jungle.
Absolutely, they're going to be pretty happy in general with it as it stands. The gold is in X7's favor. That's largely because, as you can see, massive discrepancy in top lane, that there is a very large wave coming in. Exactly, and it is going to be the Q max from Sion. Of course, does get some flexibility in what he goes towards, but the decimating smash here, very important to be able to try and get a hold of that wave. But of course, Jaeger can just knock him out of it.
At the end of the day, I mean, Sion gets to press all his buttons and clear a wave. That has just been
how he works,
the champion for as long as he's been around in this form after his
rework, indeed.
And I mean, Shikari is going to be very anemic this game. Really not. The early game gambit did not pay off for this champion.
The question is, Sion has always been pretty good at low economy, pretty good at dealing with low resources and being fine with being behind the curve because your innate utility, your innate tankiness is still pretty good. Is the cost too high here? Is he going to be too anemic as Duel, Fury, and Seaboy all looking for Tempt, who makes for a tempting target, so to speak. He's going to have to burn the ult. He's going to have to burn the ult. Needs to work out Flash first. Does he have mana for the ult? Maybe he does. He's burned the Flash instead to hold on to the ult for now.
Well, either way, still has the fighting potential of the ult. Maybe he was saying, let's burn the Flash, have the ability to make a play in the next couple of minutes after that point, but still, something away from the Ahri. That Rune Prison, so reliable at pinning down enemy targets. So now, okay, let's look a little bit towards the future. Talks about early lane and that being important for the Caitlyn. It's been isolated. Bot lane's kind of just been a bit nullified, actually, after that point. Ashen's Caitlyn is one of the few champions that can really kind of just upset this champion in terms of you get to tag them with a volley. Caitlyn doesn't have that much sustain, even with the fleet. It can get a bit awkward at that point. And Bifrost looking to probably play a lot of that front to back with the Sion, bolstering things with the Leona, but with your Sion behind and diving into that Braum, it's going to be quite difficult. On the other side, X7 playing with a range advantage between the Jace and the Ashe. Kind of,
even Ahri to an extent with the Deception.
Caitlyn is long range, but when you've got 3 champions who are of comparable range / longer with the Jace, who's really the king of that affair, Bifrost don't want to play fights too slowly either, so they're going to have to find themselves some ways to break up battle lines, maybe catch people off with the Realm Warp. That's often a tool you want to keep very much on the radar when you're playing against it. But on the other side, it's not like there aren't X factors inside of X7. They have themselves, besides the nameplate, I mean, they have the Ashe ult. They have the Ashe ult. That's something that we're seeing very much player, and that's just been unlocked. That's level 6. So
a lot of pick, a lot of poke.
Tools to set up these big 5v5s, which to my opinion, I guess, goes in the way of X7 right now.
While all this was happening, of course, Seaboy did get free time on the Herald, so we'll secure that for themselves. They do have that opportunity potentially to recoup some of the losses in bot lane that have kind of like, or rather gain some advantage they didn't get earlier on, which is normally what you're looking for with a Caitlyn. Of course, it's not a Caitlyn plus range support, it's Caitlyn Leona, which is more of a kill combo than necessarily a shove lane per se. But as it stands, early game lead to X7, largely in the top side. They've got the Herald to try and alleviate that somewhat, but I do need to see a little bit more out of Bifrost because they looked a bit lost in the last game, and I feel like Seven have read what they wanted to do in the early game, at least pretty well right now.
That's been the big adaptation and the evolution of what X7 have done in this series. Game 1, they kind of played into Bifrost's team composition strengths, and they got punished for it. Now, maybe that was just saying, look, we can beat you at your strengths now. It's a mental game. We'll just outfight you. We'll outplay you. That didn't work out. Ever since then, though, if really, like I said, it was gamesmanship is the word that we used in Game 2, where they were like, look, we're not giving you your strength. You're not playing into that death ball.
You'll
see you around.
Remember, there's no flash, but it's a Spirit Rush. She's going to try and get out of best he can, but the Solar Flare comes down, locking him in place. Too close to the sun for now, but a turnaround with the Enchanted Crystalline Arrow will allow a little bit of follow-up, but they can't go for that kill. Surely not. Tempt is far too low. A single Overload would kill him, so they can't do that. I think Sing a little overeager with the ultimate, but either way, Tempt gets out alive, and topside, Odie.
Oh, that's a very isolated Caitlyn.
Ward hop, kick into the wall, into the Sonic Wave, resonating strike will break apart the Caitlyn. The sound wave's too strong and the Sonic boom is enough.
Caitlyn can never be left to push alone. That is not something you do with this champion because Duel goes mid lane, looks for something. Odie cannot be there. One of those two things cannot be allowed to happen. You can see that C-Boy was walking up towards that side of the map, but the timer wasn't quite there, and that's sadly been a bit of a recurring trend for Bifrost throughout this series. Odie goes down, and now X7, they find themselves a nullifying play in the mid. They find themselves more gold onto Jaeger, and this time with Haru tagging in for it as well. X7's top side, very, very happy with how this has gone.
And honestly, Odie and Duel have been candidates for MVPs of their role, bluntly. They've been so key to Bifrost's success. They have been drafted towards, they got a Caitlyn, one of the most lane-dominant, focus-on-me champions in League of Legends competitive play. But you cannot get caught out like that. You cannot play like that and get punished. At least he didn't burn summoners and he can come back to the scene of the crime. He's got a Herald now and C-Boy and Duel there alongside said item, I guess. It is in item form right now to try and make something happen. Fury roaming up with a Realm Warp. Time to try and spare some blushes by summoning someone to get some more gold.
Trying to punish the Caitlyn push again. Asshole comes through.
That'll be the cleanse in turn. They're going to try and get this one back in as Kasing has to flash away. Gets rooted up, goes down. Moving in herds indeed. The Herald comes out, charges in, trying to bring down the fences. This isn't quite enough for Storm yet. There is no Dennis turning anything off. They'll just take the gold plates. They'll take the kill onto Kasing and they'll back off. And that will bring the gold back towards even.
Tempt feeling like a bit of a dinosaur himself as he turns up late to the party. Very much out of his time. Looking to try and break that siege. And that's the right instinct versus the Caitlyn. It is the right instinct. You don't want to let them just free push, but Bifrost, they managed to disengage more than fine at that point. They punished the over-aggressive turnaround from X7. They still had the cleanse on the Caitlyn, and X7 left eating that Herald charge, gold going through to the Caitlyn. Yes, they did get that kill before, and that was a bit of a blunder from the side of Bifrost, but you've still now got big resources going into Odie, and you know, we were talking about this bot lane just before that, saying actually both of these two bot laners have been so important in terms of Odie and Duel, but they hadn't really found that much in this series so far. We're expecting more of them. So they're now in a position to play out their game plan for their team, roll that Caitlyn around the map, take some plates.
Haru's Lee Sin, pretty legendary. Saw what he could do way back on Samsung Galaxy back in the day. We have to bring it up with this player. He has reached the highest heights. The player really can bring, yes, something of a substitute in that run, but an important part of the Samsung team nonetheless. Shikari has to burn his ultimate, but it's a flash in front from Jaeger. Looking to try and get the kill, but doesn't quite have the damage. Smooth play, but gets the flash out of Shikari for it.
Just a trade. I appreciate the attempt to say, like, yo, that train is stopping right here. Going to be pushing the emergency stop on that one. And while all this is happening, I mean, Odie is continuing to push in towards topside. No cleanse on Odie now. There isn't Ashe ult.
Could look for
Only
it.
2v2 right now. If you had Lee Sin waiting in the wings, if you had Ahri waiting in the wings, maybe you could pull the trigger on that, but X7 not feeling emboldened to do so far, collecting that wave, but at least stopping the Caitlyn from pushing down the tower right now.
Absolutely. Kasing holds up the door, closes the tower down. There is no gate available to come in and siege that particular structure, block some of those auto attacks. Always one of the more useful features of Braum in a defensive scenario as Tempt pops the ult to escape from the Solar Flare. Duel has been mid so many times.
That is exactly what we're talking about, saying, okay, Bifrost is going to be really difficult for them to dive in, but that Solar Flare is very important for making sure X7 are held accountable. And with Solar Flare having a relatively short cooldown, taking away more valuable or higher cooldowns from X7, obviously working in their favor. Get themselves Dragon off that too, so there's 1-1 in the early game Dragons. No one's stacking up towards early Soul. or close to it even at this point. And now we have ourselves a split of the map in terms of AD carries pushing down towers.
Just a little bit of haunting in this Tribush behind the bot lane tier 1, but Haru and Jaeger are here. Fury looking for a potential Realm Walk angle. There is no teleport from Tempt, so we cannot join. Kasing coming down though, trying to clear this away from a long range. The Asher is being fired, but where is it fired to? Follow it down the map. They're trying to get a stun. It's going to miss for now. And that will pull Bifrost away from this tower with Kasing around as well. They hold on. They prevent the engage. They read it well.
Do, and I mean, if you look at
lordy lord,
okay, fair play. When you look at Bifrost setting up for that dive, I mean that arrow would have been perfect timing if they committed towards that dive. So X7, even though they waste that ult, do you know what? I'm not gonna. Even though they use that ult, it wasn't a waste.
That's fair.
Think that if it had actually,
it's not maximum value.
If Bifrost had committed towards that dive, that would have been perfectly timed in exactly the right spot. Obviously, it doesn't work out that way, and you look a little bit awkward at that point. Still very much, I think that was the right play to make, and now left waiting for the next big confrontation to play, because obviously both of these AD carries very content to keep pushing around the map. No outer turrets fallen just yet, but you can see that X7, Bifrost splitting the map, trying to create.
We could be in for a little bit of a skirmish. Duels around, but will he look for anything more? Nata, low mana, makes this a little difficult for him right now. Off the Herald they come, down to about 3.5k health. Now down even lower. Trying to secure this out. Charm did land on Fury, and the range discrepancy is hurting. The Glacial Fissure comes out, and they cannot cross that snow field. Winter is coming, and it's sealing off the entrance into the Rift Herald.
And Glaciers aside, and all things wintry, X7 having cool heads in this scenario. We talked about this the last game, criticized X7 in the past for being too overconfident and just trying to outplay scenarios, when honestly they probably should be giving more respect.
Duel.
They're taking what's given to them in this game.
They're going to try and get this one. Not quite enough damage for the kill. That shield of Daybreak, that's the word it is. I was going to call it Shield Bash. That's not quite what that one is. Shield of Daybreak, however, is what it is, and Duel stuns Haru long enough to prevent a kill coming through. Very close to X.
X7, they're not overplaying the hands.
Haru's still here.
Showing the respect given.
He's still here. Duel can't do this. He can't be there. He's just dead. Gordrigger came out afterwards, well, but now it's still going to be a 3v3 as Fury's up, but he's going to get exhausted. The door goes up, buying some space. They're trying to get damage, but Nata has no mana. Tempt now here will be a 4v3. Little more to be found, and Haru stuck around, punished Duel.
Nata still has the ultimate, but doesn't really have the mana to fight outside of that. Points X7, they've held on to this tower for such a long time. For 17 minutes, first tower of the game will go down against a Caitlyn. They're actually pretty happy with that timestamp, all things said and done, but still, you are losing that territory. Jace not managing to quite do the same on the other side of the map just yet. Shikari with teleport means that Jaeger's not really going to find as much value in this lane as he'd like to.
Interesting there as well. He was kind of choosing not to auto the tower. He was staying, even though he had minions there, he was choosing rather to take the opportunity to chunk into Shikari. And I wonder whether there's an option here to say, look, I don't want to leave a long lane for Shikari to be free freezing in.
I still think that you need to, I don't know. Part of me thinks that's maybe quite intelligent. Jaeger going to be caught up by this one. Of course, he has members coming down towards him. I think that was more a case of, you see that you don't have flash. There's some summoners on the side of Shikari. And if you go for that turret, there's a chance to get CC'd under that into death, particularly with that minion wave dying. It's of course one of the big dangers of the side. He clears that wave so quickly and has a lot of CC. Diving Scion can be very, very dangerous. But with the members moving down from X7, Jaeger finally returns the favor for his team to take down a turret for themselves, and Jaeger has himself an individual advantage. Last time he had that on the Jace, wasn't a clean game. They did end up with that win in game 2, but it was hard fought to get to that point. This time, has himself the winning side lane matchup again. X7 playing it out a little bit more respectfully, as we've been saying.
Mikma on the desk said he did not like Shikari when he's taken off the carries. When you know what this guy can do, when he's given a little bit more agency, and he is falling behind Jaeger. He's not getting the same impact he was on the Gnar. And to say that Camille back in game 1, that kind of opportunity, even the Gwen at points was getting dangerous. But right now, we've got 30 seconds until the next dragon. We're going to reset out of Jaeger, who does have a teleport. And it's Bifrost right now clearing out vision, looking to command the river.
And Bifrost are managing to push in, get that prio, and then set up area control. That is very much what this composition can do. You have the Rise, you have the Caitlyn, you push in, you set up traps, you set up vision for a potential Realm Warp, and the light coming in. Of course, Scion, as much as it's not a carry, has the ability to set up fights incredibly well with that ultimate, of course. Bifrost choosing to take this dragon. It's a mountain dragon. They have double tanks. Very happy to get extra tank stats, even just from the basic dragon, but they get themselves that soul, and they are very, happy to take themselves late game 5v5s, I'd imagine.
Imagine as well that while there is a slight gold lead to X7, it's not that monumental. It's really not. It's only about 1.5 just over, maybe closing towards 2,000 gold lead, which is decent, but at 20-minute marks, that's not a game-breaking advantage. You can come back from this, and the scaling is there for Bifrost. If they can get to the later stages, Caitlyn, Rise, Sion, Viego all scale exceptionally well with a few items to their names. And if they can continue to prevent X7 from commanding the map, as they did particularly last game, there is still a game to be played here.
And you do have to deal with the ability for X7 to play at range, because Sing briefly caught out, forced to flash. But this is the thing, right? So often we talk about champions scaling, but often it has to come down to execution and how easy is it to for certain champions within certain scenarios. If you're hitting training dummies, look at X7, they're going to do a heck of a lot of damage, but they're not hitting training dummies. They're going to be hitting a Sion, whereas actually Bifrost, they're going to be hitting the Braum. How much is that going to change things? How much does that change if it's not actually a straight 5v5? Bifrost, they are going to struggle to fight into that Braum. I think that's going to be a huge problem for them. However, if they use that Realm Warp, punish Jaeger on that side lane like we've seen a couple of times this series so far, then we start to have a couple more things called into question for the state of this game.
Final last turret falls for Bifrost, and the 1-3-1 is in action right now for X7. Tempt up towards the top side, Jaeger towards the bottom, then you've got the holding crew with Ash plus her supports as Haru and Kasing get to play roam squad, turn up to a side lane, prevent any easy engages. We've criticized, honestly, Jaeger's side laning in, particularly games 1 and 2. But Bifrost maybe might have caught him here. He doesn't reset quite in time. Needs to flash away. Flash is late! The moment I call it out, it's a caster curse. I was about to praise it. He doesn't quite recall in time. The Ash arrow flies, but it will not be in time. Big mistake.
It's a party arrow. It's really is much of a muchness in that one. And
not quite in time.
His friend leaves him, and Duel pops out of a bush, looks like a very clever girl, Velociraptor, and C-Boy's on this one.
Speaking of it, Haru not quite enough damage even with the burn, stays just about alive. He needs to reset, but now what can Duel do? He's down the flash. He's been hex flashing this entire game, looking, praying for those engages, and Tempt gets that kill.
That was some Nightmare Ari gameplay. I appreciate hitting basically none of your skill shots and still getting the kill, because at that point, it's just the right decision-making tree to get that one kill. Gonna go a little bit further back in. There you go. As you said, flashed a little bit late, and taxis along Iliota with that Zenith Blade. Flashes late after just been tagged. Very tight timing for that one, and yeah, it's a bit of a sad situation, but Bifrost, just after winning that one victory, get caught out overextending themselves. Temp comes in, and that's an Everfrost miss. That's a charm miss, but it's okay.
There's nowhere to go.
You get to chase people down. You get it's
zoning.
I like.
Oh, Jaeger. Yeah, you like the last one I can excuse because your friends were there and then they left. This one I cannot. You cannot play side lanes like this. You have no vision.
And things are like, there is a disclaimer on this, right? We are only people talking about these players. We get to ascribe a lot of definition to them without them getting to defend themselves. But it's quite sad when you see it on screen when you say, oh, Jaeger's been dying in side lanes quite a lot. Maybe we should call that out. And it happens 2 times back-to-back on screen in a very important game where you've been given an advantage early game. X7 can't be dealing with a Jace that's throwing away the gold like this.
No, and that's 2 in a row. And yes, the first one, a bit excusable. Yes, he's been playing better, but that is not what you want to see. It's been a weakness. All down Spent Fury has Realm Warped in. It's a 3v5. Nata tanked up, goes down. C-Boy steals the soul. It'll be a turnaround. Haru can't quite get out in time. Tempt is now here. They're caught under this tower, but it's a 2v4. I don't think they got the damage. Surely they don't. Everfrost goes wise. Duel's still very low. Kasing maybe going to get stunned up. Does so. Tempt trying to get out. That's Jaeger back in, who has now survived, looking for some vengeance. Odie fell. Have Bifrost gone too deep? I think they might just have. Tempt can't quite find the charm yet. The W is out for the movement speed. One final charm will land. It'll be Shikari going down as well. They get that one. A shutdown. Shock blast not quite enough as the Eclipse came back. And Bifrost dive too deep. A story of this series. Both teams overextending.
This one is bit sad from the side of Bifrost, because you look at that and think, right, cool, just taking down that Jace. That's great, done there for the second time in a row. Not able to impact this fight. Doing really well at punishing Jaeger once again in this series. And then they have a great fight in mid lane until they just commit to the second part of that fight without the prerequisite amount of cooldowns to really take that one home. Fury has a bit of an awkward time juggling tower aggro, and we're going to go see that in this play. It started by Duel getting right into the thick of things. A lot of hopscotching around with Stand Behind Me, with Zenith Blades, with Ward Hops. with all that said, a lot of defensive cooldowns now gone from the side of X7. Realm Warp comes in through, but look at what Furry does with the Tower. He's taken 3, 4, 5 or 6 turret shots where he could have maybe walked out a tower, reset that. Rise goes down very easily, I have to feel.
Here we go, look at tempted Haru on the flank, Charm goes wide, they don't know Haru's there, but he gets hooked onto. They're going to try and blitz one out anyway, look at the other side as well, it's Kassim gets something, Haru can't quite the kill onto Oni and he's knocked out! Sniper claims that one! Caitlyn, the best shot in all of Piltover, secures the jungler before a critical dragon fight. But X7 now, can they ward out Bifrost from the pit? Can they wait on Haru? Shock blast from Jaeger. He went from 1-3 to 3-3 after that last fight.
I think Bifrost don't want to walk into him. You know that's what the Braum likes. You got charms, you got volleys. Don't take that risk. They're trying to get them outside of this brush so they can at least play with vision.
Duel.
X7 don't feel like they can start the dragon without the smite themselves, so it's a bit of a nullified play once again. X7, after seeing Bifrost choosing to reset and take their chances elsewhere, will take that dragon and even up 2-2 with a mountain dragon apiece.
OD just survives, and Haru has been so lethal on the Lee Sin, trying to find all these engaged in C-Boy. Steals away some Raptors, might go for the Krugs as well, trying to get what he can out of the failed Dragon start. It's now 2 apiece. Of course, he's got to be a little afraid here, as he'll be on vision when he comes out of here, and Tempt can now look for a pick himself. They'll both spot each other, those sweepers pass each other in the night. But there are ships to be sunk. Hulls to be breached, whether that item has been picked up or not. And it's a tense game. A reminder, X7 win this. It's a ticket to European Masters. Play-ins or main stage, of course, to be decided, but a ticket nonetheless. Bifrost right now need this game to send it to 5, to bring this back into a position where they can still look for it, where they can continue to be the kryptonite of this attempt, this god team, this super team, this team of LCK veterans and world champions. Measure up here, and you can write your names in the ERL history books.
On the other side of it, you know, again, while we've got a little bit of time to talk about it, Bifrost, we didn't expect them to be here. Even halfway through the split, we're sat there going, okay, well, JDXL, X7, they're the ones we're likely to send into this point. They're behind in this series. Looks like they're going to give up a Baron as well. Don't have the vision to walk into this. They're trying to walk up. Temp playing goalkeeper.
Gotta be so careful.
Trying the approach.
He's just there. He's being warded off. This Ahri so difficult to walk through. Charmed in place. Baron down to 1500. He's not going to get there in time. They do secure it. Went down to 500 HP. I got worried if the sign ult did come in. It will be a dead Braum trade. That's a Realm Warp over. Can they get enough out of it? Nutter is down. Temp trying to escape. Does have flash means, but it's 2-4-none right now. X7 run to the hills. Trying to escape. Bifrost hunting for the remaining members as Jaeger clears out the wave in mid lane. I just don't think they have the move speed, and they'll take 2.
Okay, but that's 2 dead on the side of X7. Again, but we had this a couple of games ago, and Bifrost stuck themselves a Baron. They took it. Actually, that was against the wrong run of play, of course, in that one game. And then by taking a couple of kills off the back,
it's not the split push, it's not the teleport users.
Very, very hard to play out that Baron with members down, and this is why we kept talking about actually Realm Warp and Asher. They're the 2 real X factors.
Oh, Jaeger! He flashed over and then Blast Cone back in.
Flashed over and Blast Cone back in. Either way, might actually have
saved his life, honestly, yes.
At that point, he walks out alive. It's a bit of a blunder. Has a summoner spell.
Fortunate misplay. I think that must have been an attack move.
That's a task failed successfully. We'll call it that.
I would have pit right back in.
X7 have themselves 2 minutes of this Baron buff left to play with. That's not going to quite overlap with the Dragon, but they can push out. They can reset just before that point. They don't have Baron buff in the mid lane right now because both bot laners ended up dying in the offset of that fight. Bifrost have the Caitlyn, who's then going to push in, be able to get that mid priority to then spread across the map. Question is, can they deal with the 2 teleport users, as you were calling actually at the end of that fight too, pushing out the side lanes?
They've got enough to play at least 2 lanes here. They've got time. They've got 3 items plus stopwatch on Jace. 3 items plus stopwatch on Ahri. Nat has got to be close to a 3rd item himself as well.
On the other side, a lot of your power comes from Poke, and there's a Bloodthirster now on the Caitlyn. Normally struggles with having themselves any kind of sustain. Not going to be so much of a problem with this. I do think that's an intelligent bite. But he's been doing plenty enough damage for himself. Kassim going to hop over that wall. has a lot of stuff to do. Oh, look.
Oh, he flashes out of the center, but it's going to be the wrong way. The Glacial Fissure, though, will buy some space. Kasing tries to stay alive, throws down the exhaust, tries to get away. Stand behind me. It's not quite enough. Duel is still alive, but he will finally fall. C-Boy steals the Brawn, puts up the door, but can he stay alive in turn? Over the wall is Shikari. Does a lot of work. Oni now free firing the Realm Warp to keep chasing. They've got to keep playing. They've got 3 people here. Flash for the Rune Prison. Stopwatch into stopwatch. Golden Statue still fall down. Shikari tanks it all. And X7 get engaged on.
And it's all that glitters is gold, but I don't know if that's the right medal in this one because it seems a bit tarnished to me. Bifrost, they find themselves a huge fight again, and it's another crazy Realm Warp.
They can end it.
To close that gap, and Haru, he's not in a position to defend. There is
10 seconds on Hata, 15 on Jaeger. They've got to try.
Ghost just about to run out.
Maybe they're oversaved. Bifrost pretty low here as well. They're going to be so careful. They're about to die. 1 tower's down. Shikari is dead into zombie form. They need to escape. There's teleports on Tempt, teleports on Jaeger. There's a flank opportunity here. Will X7 look for it? Look at the pings on the wards. They're coming. Here come the storm. Haru Lantikin can't quite get the kill. Ward hopping out, but it stops the easy retreat. Ace in the hole. Will secure it. Shock blast goes wide. That's a W over the top, looking for vision. Another teleport is here. Odie with flash, with cleanse, can try and escape, but C-Boy has only got a heartbreaker. Spirit rushes there over the wall. He goes, but he gets stunned. They're going to try and escape. Bastic, and not quite enough damage. He's burning down. Deaths. Dance. He dances with death and he fails, and he'll have to go straight down into the afterlife. 2 dead in trade, and Bifrost look for the end and fail.
And it's going to lead to a dragon going to X7. It is still not Soul.
There's no smites.
21 minutes in for 2 dragons apiece. It's going to be Soul point for the side of X7 unless Duel can do some kind of miracle steal with Leona ultimate. It's not going to be pushed away from that objective, but you're right. I mean, Bifrost, they were bold in their attempts to end the game. Shikari ends up taking tower aggro, goes down very, very easily, but on the other side, of course, Haru died to his own deaths as both junglers meeting the same fate with that one.
Just buying space, trying to hold on, look for the kill. Just doesn't quite have the burst at this point. That is a very tanky rise. Again, it's not full tank, but it's close.
Is this the cleanest series we've seen from this region or from these teams? Probably not at this point. We're seeing a lot of very opportunistic plays, trying to break open the pace of this game, and that's leading to a lot of plays being made off the tempo of the game when you have this accepted rhythm of let's fight around the Baron, let's fight around XYZ. And X7, they get caught a little bit against the rhythm of this song. Kasing getting caught out on that Braum, and actually, because Braum getting stolen in this fight,
huge there.
Look at the amount of work that stolen Braum soul does, and that explains to you how much value the Braum has on both sides if they end up going down first. And this is where things get really, really crazy, of course, because then you've got, wait, hang on, there's a tank on the other side. We don't have one of those. We've got a Braum, he certainly helps, but
he's dead.
Diving with a Scion very much helps. And then this craziness happens. Shikari gets Braum stunned under tower and takes up all that aggro, even with the minions underneath it, and without the front line at that point, things get very, very dicey for Bifrost. Even though they have not the worst case scenario, it gets damn close.
Can't quite get the kill there. You saw what Haru was looking for. Didn't quite have the damage. Either way, they come out on top of that one. Shikari left alone in this side lane. The beefiest boy in all of Runeterra right now, doing his best to... I think the stakes are a little high to be making that kind of pun right now.
Only when he gets hit by the knock.
I know I said they move in herds, but I really wasn't talking about cattle ranching. Don't test me on this, because I am hot to trot when it comes to puns.
Take a seat. Bifrost moving with 4 members on the map again. They tried the Deathwall composition with the Senna Seraphine earlier in the day. They're finding more success with it in this game with the Caitlyn. And even that's been
here we go.
Crazy. They're looking to go a step further again, though, with the Psyonot coming in.
Unstoppable onslaught. They're going to bend that one round like Beckham. It's a decent arrow to turn it around. Kasing gets the Glacial Fissure off, goes Golden Tempt into the backline. Gets a big chunk onto C-Boy, but not enough damage afterwards. They get Duel, but Haru trying to stay alive in trade. He's burning down and does go out. Tempt can't quite get anything more, but C-Boy is so damn low. It's a 1-for-1, but the jungler being dead means no smite available.
No smite available, but for what at this point? You don't have a big enough HP or numbers advantage to go towards the Baron. The Dragon's already down, so it is literally just a 1-for-1 at this point. It's fighting for the sake of fighting, and don't get me wrong, I love the entertainment of it.
Baron.
It does make me question why.
It could have been Baron. Baron's alive. If they get the win there, if they get more HP, they have the smite advantage, and suddenly they can do it. In fact, they're teleporting back in. Here we go.
You see everyone groups in the mid. You have that extended run up on the sign. You can see the initial pick, but Both teams have enough disengage to see it out at that point. Bifrost going onto the Baron. Again, they have the front line to deal with this. They have the tank and they have sustain from their carries to keep themselves
traps
popped up on this. Caitlyn traps definitely dealing. Temp though. He's going
to go stealing, can't quite get it. Did go over the wall, and the Realm Warp out afterwards. Baron secured by Bifrost with the jungler dead. 1.5 minutes till Mountain Soul point, or Mountain Soul potentially for X7. I apologize, but they've got a Baron to work with to Bifrost.
And there you go. I sat there thinking, I wonder why they're going for this and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's just a 1-for-1. Surely they can't start the Baron. Well, of course, they end up then starting the Baron, taking it with the smite away on the other side. Temp trying to do some kind of steal with just Ahri's base burst damage, but you don't have a smite at that point. And Bifrost, again, finding themselves, not for the first time this series, a decisive Baron take kind of against the run of play. They've been finding some fights here and there. This one has been much more even. Maybe even the most even of the games we've seen so far. Throughout all of it, they have themselves the Baron now. They have themselves a lot of members to use it with. The potential to finally break into that base once more on the side of X7.
Rise is at 4 items. So is Caitlyn, and these champions well and truly online. And unless X7 can find a way to blow up one or the other, and don't get me wrong, they've got good flank angles, they've got good range options, and Odie is down the cleanse already. 50 seconds until Dragon, and that will not be available.
No, but neither will the Ash Arrow 4, at least the posturing side of this. You got the rank 2 ultimate from Ash, but you don't have any cooldown reduction on that ability. Outside of that, you're not running anything like an Essence Reaver. That's going to be down for this fight too, actually, by the looks of that. So, Bifrost looking to crush that base once again. Tempt caught on the flank.
C-Boy gets in turn, has to get chunked out, but the Rune Prison comes through. Tempt needs to get over the wall instead. He's got to try and go back in. I'm not sure about that one. Need to find some way out, of course.
Odie!
Odie is dead! Jaeger gets him! It's a hammer blow! It's a double kill for Jaeger! Complain about a sidelining all you like, but the team fighting from Jace gets 2! Bot lane is down! And now with 3 seconds, this is Mountain Soul.
Oh, Caitlyn not available for this fight. X7 have bought themselves a Mountain Soul.
And C-Boy too.
Out of seemingly nowhere. C-Boy has a flash, he has a smite. X7.
He's got a prayer. That's it. Right now, he needs to find some way, somehow, because he is about to be all that stands between Bifrost and a Mountain Soul. They do not get it.
And I think if they lose C-Boy at that point and they give up the Soul, chance that X7 push in for a death push. And that was Odie with flash. That was Odie with the chance to maybe flash away from some of that damage, flash over the wall, but positioning a little suspect in that late game fight. You have to have someone stood between you and the enemy as that Caitlyn. Look at this, it's the Grom ult. You see that Shikari is stood there at first, but Gale forces forwards, and I mean, he just walks straight into the Jace. He just goes way too far forward, positioning really the tail of this fight between the two AD carries. Nata able to free DPS, and the Caitlyn taken out far too early.
Slowed by the volley, and then Jace goes to the skies and comes crashing down like a goddamn meteorite.
All it takes is about a second, 2 seconds of mispositioning, of hesitation, and that's it. And we saw this actually on X7's side when they lost to Veneer in that last week of the regular split. There was that one Renata ult, just second. Half a second of hesitation can cost you these games, and in no more important scenario than this one for these teams in this split so far. Sugo and Odie.
Here we go again. C-Boy is stunned! They're going to hit him in front of him. The Glacial Fissure comes out to prevent too much of an easy back away. Odie flashing out, but Ahri's in the back. I can't quite get the kill, though. He's gone too deep. He's got to stop us, but we'll get no more. Now he falls. That is such a massive deal. It's 2.5 minutes until the ban, but they won't be able to get too much more. The smite being dead doesn't make that much difference right now. He tried to look for it. He tried to get in, but he got stunned. He couldn't find the flash kick.
What does this mean? Because what it does do is stop X7 again.
Look at Fury.
Their own gaming push, but they've got Fury on the side lane. You've got teleports back to the towers. Bifrost gonna roll more back into the mid lane.
It's being stopped from backing by Duel. He can't get here.
They're looking for a fight. They're looking for the end of this point. You can see the look in their eyes, the way they're positioning across the map. They were bold in their first attempts to end it. See how it works on the second.
Shikari is so damn tanky. They could look for another inhibitor potentially here. Without Haru, there's very little engaged. It's going to clear the way. They're going to lose another inhibitor without Tempt here. But actually now he's going to be around.
Mirrors for now. Just some smoke and mirrors. Potential for the game-ending play if X7 slipped up, but they just about stick in time with the dance at this one time. They waste themselves a teleport, getting back towards the base to X7 to at least have themselves the ability to defend. But now Bifrost, after that hard-earned single kill victory in that mid lane, can't actually get that much off of it. There is that, the big win is that inhibitor. That allows you to have a bit more passive ability to gain control over territory with Elder on the table, on the horizon, just coming onto the board at this point. that will help. It means that X7 are necessitated to put someone down to that bot lane to control things. Bifrost, they don't get themselves, again, neither team found that, again, real back-breaking fight in this game.
No, it got close multiple times, and Haru was an inch away from the insect through the entire team. Could not get the flash. Dragon Rage off. Jaeger at this point so deadly with his damage, but 2 inhibitors down versus a Mountain Soul. Game could go either way yet.
Looking at the items as you are kind of talking about, you know, Haru looking for those miracle picks, what agency do we have? Huge items on pretty much everyone at this point. There's a Death Cap on Fury who has a Void Sap. This is a higher AP build for this Rise. There's a Death Cap on the other side though. If you get caught out again, a second, 2 seconds is all it takes. Temps, even with the Mountain Salt, gonna get chunked out at that point. Gonna have to charge up that passive, kill some minions to try and get that up there. And X7, they're splitting a little bit more. Gale force forward, just trying to
chunk out Tempt. He'll have to look and heal somewhere. He does not have the teleport critically. 10 seconds till this Baron, and I think he's going to have to leave it. He's no camps up. He's just going to have to...
That's actually a really important chunk. Now, you don't have the Gale Force on Caitlyn. Very important. That's what actually stumped Haru in his last attempt to win this huge set of team fights. Bifrost have 2 people on the Baron, 3 people pushing in mid, trying to split the difference, and they have the ability to do that. They have a huge amount of damage on individual members to 2-man this.
What's happening?
The regen to tank it up at the same time. X7, they need to make a decision. They need to commit to something, and they're struggling to balance it right now.
Bifrost keeping this Baron aggro, but try not to let it go down to executable range. It will be a flip as it stands.
Tempt is not here. Remember, no teleport, has a flash, and
we'll go across.
Haru,
the Q was blocked. Down to 2,000 HP. It's going to be a smite steal. Not going to have the opportunity, though. C-Boy.
I absolutely held my breath. I saw that come in and I'm like, oh, if it's not going to be a smite, what could it be? It could be anything at this point. So high damages. Bifrost, they get themselves another Baron. Question is this one going to be finally enough to end this game?
41 minutes into the game. We are no closer, it feels, to working out who wins this one. Inhibitor in mid lane has respawned. We've got a minute until the next fight. It's an Elder Dragon. What can Bifrost do with this Baron?
This game goes any longer, it's going to start actually rivaling the entirety of the series between Dusty and Veneer, which lasted 68 minutes in total.
It's already 2/3 of it.
Already 2/3 of it. And that has been how tight these 2 teams have been. The number 1 and 2 teams in the regular season. Shikari has ult. He's walking up using that bulwark he has.
What can they do to stop this one? Shikari being slowed down. Actually needs to pop the ultimate. Cannot even complete the inhibitor there. That is not what Bifrost wanted. They were looking to try and brute force with this Baron, with the structures down, with the front line they have, but late enough into this game, Ash can shred through people like that. Here we go again. Jaeger flash out the Solar Flare, but that does leave Kasing out to dry. The door comes up, but he goes down. It's like the ending of Game of Thrones. It's a disaster.
And Temps and Haru were not there to disengage. Kasing gets caught, and
what can you do? They need to get the minions
available for C-Boy.
Yeah, but it's dead. One Nexus turret.
There's a numbers advantage. Bifrost smell blood in the water again.
That's so much damage. Tempt taken down to so low HP. Haru's dead as well. Tempt's got to go back to the Fountain to try and heal, but I think Bifrost have done it. They'll just brute force the way forwards. Fury gets Nata. They've done it. We're going to Game 5.
All that glitters is gold, but we're silver and we're scraping it just as Bifrost scraped that win in